Today we're going to begin our multiplication unit. We're going to start with reviewing basic multiplication facts that you learned last year. So to review those facts, the first thing that I want us to do is create a multiplication chart. Anytime that you're working on multiplication and when we get to division, this will come in handy as well. The multiplication chart is very helpful for your basic multiplication facts. It is also a good idea to have some flashcards where you can practice these facts as well, but you will always have this multiplication chart as a tool that you can use whenever you are multiplying. So you will need a blank multiplication chart so that you can follow along with me as I make this chart. All right, so you want it turned sideways just like mine. And in this top box, we're going to put a multiplication symbol. Across the top, we're going to put the numbers 1 through 12. And on the side, going down, we're going to put the numbers 1 through 12 again. Okay, now we're going to start multiplying or skip counting. Multiplying is simply skip counting by a number. So when I look at this first box, this really shows 1 times 1. That's what goes in this box, the answer to 1 times 1. And what is 1 times 1? That's right, it's 1. In this box, we're really showing what 2 times 1 is. And 2 times 1 is 2. This box shows 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 1 is 4. 5 times 1 is 5. 6 times 1 is 6. 7 times 1 is 7. 8 times 1 is 8. 9 times 1 is 9. 10 times 1 is 10. 11 times 1 is 11. And 12 times 1 is 12. So this row we showed that each time we're multiplying by 1. Okay, so then we go to this row and we're showing what each number is times 2. So here would be 1 times 2 is 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. And 3 times 2 is 6, and so on. So we're really skip counting by 2's, but we're also showing what each number times 2 is. So I'm going to keep going. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12. 7 times 2 is 14. 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay, so we showed 2 times each number between 1 and 12. All right, next we're going to do 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. And I'm going to continue skip counting by 3's. So 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, and 36. Okay, next we're going to do the 4's row. I'm showing that 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, times 5 is 20, and so on. 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, and 48. So I showed 4 times each number. 4 times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, times 6, times 7, times 8, times 9, times 10, times 11, and times 12. Next, I'll go to 5's, and I'm simply skip counting by 5's. 5 times 1 is 5, times 2 is 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Okay, here's where it starts to get a little harder. 6's. 6 times 1 is 6, times 2 is 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, and 72. Okay, so I showed 6 times each number. All right, still getting harder. Moving on to 7's. 7 times 1 is 7, times 2 is 14, times 3 is 21, times 4 is 28, times 5 is 35. Let me pause right here. So if you'll notice, we've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Could I go back and do my 1's here, my 2's here, my 3's here, 4's here, 5's here, and 6 here since we've already done those? Would that make more sense? Probably. So I'm going to continue the 7's row, and then we'll go back and do that row so that we can fill in the ones that we've already done. So here's 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, and 84. All right, so now I'm going to go back over here because I'm still showing 1 times 1, 1 times 2, 1 times 3. The chart can go either way, so I'm going to continue here filling in my 1's. Then I'm going to continue here filling in my 2's. Here I'm at 2 times 8 is 16. 9 is 18, 20, 22, and 24. 3's after 21. 8 times 3 is 24. And then 27, 30, 33, and 36. See, I've already done those up here on this row. All right, 4's, if I'm continuing with 4's after 28, 8 times 4 is 32, 36, 40, 44, and 48. In the 5's row, 8 times 5 is 40, and now I'm going to continue counting by 5's. Okay, we've already done the 6's. 6 times 8 is 48, 54, 60, 66, and 72. See, now most of my chart is filled in. I only have this little bit left. Okay, so now we're on the 8's row. We already have through 8 times 6, so we need to pick up with 8 times 7 is 56, times 8 is 64, times 9 is 72, times 10 is 80, 88, and 96. Okay, now moving on to the 9's row, we're up to 9 times 7, and 9 times 7 is 63, times 8 is 72, times 9 is 81, times 10 is 90, 99, and 108. All right, now we're in the 10's row. We're up to 10 times 7, and this one's easy. You're just counting by 10, so 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. All right, in the 11's row, if you notice, there is a pattern with the 11's. The number that you're multiplying by, that digit just repeats. So 2 times 11 is 22. So instead of 1 2, you have 2's, 2 2's. So we have 66 times 7 will be 77, times 8 is 88, 99, 110, 121, and 132. Okay, and now we're down to our 12's row. So we're up to 12 times 7, and 12 times 7 is 84, times 8 is 96, times 9 is 108, times 10 is 120, times 11 is 132, and 12 times 12 is 144. So now that I have my chart completely filled in, I'm going to show you how you can use the chart to multiply. So if my multiplication problem was 8 times 7, I'm going to put one finger at the top on 8 and one finger at the side on 7, and I'm going to slide those two together, and where they meet, that is my answer of 56. 7 times 8 is 56. All right, let's try 12 times 6. So I put one finger on my 12 at the top, one finger on the 6 at the side, and I trace those together until my answer is 72. So 12 times 6 is 72. All right, you try this one, 6 times 6. Go ahead and put your fingers where they need to be and trace it to see what 6 times 6 equals. I hope you said 36. Put your finger here on 6, finger here on 6, trace them together, and that equals 36. So you will need to make sure that you keep this multiplication chart in a very safe place, because as we begin to multiply bigger numbers, you will need this chart for your basic multiplication facts.